Alexa, what is 55 times 2?
55 multiplied by 2 is 110.
Hey guys, it's Sam here from HowToFAQ, and today we're going to be building our own Alexa Pi, our own Raspberry Pi running Alexa like an Amazon Echo. So, there's a few things you're going to be needing. You're going to need a battery bank, an aux speaker, a Raspberry Pi of some sort, a USB microphone, and a Wi-Fi dongle of some sort, unless your Raspberry Pi has built-in Wi-Fi, and an SD card. Once you've got all those things, now we can get started. So, to use Alexa, you actually need to have an Amazon developer account, because this is linked in with Amazon's Alexa development package. So we need to set up an Amazon developer account. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to Amazon developer. If you just type in Amazon developer, now you can click here, developer.amazon.com, and now what we're going to do is we're going to click Alexa voice surface. You want to sign in as well. So if you already have an Amazon account, you should be able to easily set it up. So here's my email. I'm just going to enter in my email here and password. Otherwise, you can create your own Amazon account, and it's fairly easy to set up. But most people have Amazon accounts. Not going to save that. Okay, now I'm going to click Alexa, and we're actually going to scroll down to see where it says Alexa voice service. Click get started, and you can see I've already made one here, but I'm going to make another one just to show you how it works. So basically you want to fill in some basic details. So device type ID. So for me, I'm just going to call it Alexa. Alexa Pi is a good one. So we're just going to call it Alexa Pi. You can call it whatever you want. You may be required to. Okay, so this can't have any spaces in, so I'll just have to do an underscore. Security profile. If you haven't created a security profile already, you'll need to create one, and you just need to enter some sort of name. So I'm going to call it Alexa Pi. You generally want to have everything consistent, but your description just can be brief. Alexa Pi, yeah, it's not very important. And here we have our security profile ID, client ID, client secret. Now we need to keep these in in some sort of file somewhere, so we can have them ready to use for a Raspberry Pi. So I'm just going to get Notepad open. Just going to copy and paste these in, so I can use them later. So you can see they're there. Pretty simple to use. So I'm just going to take that away. Yeah. And now you need to change some web settings. So web settings, we'll have to edit that. We need to add an origin here. So we actually need to add, for allowed origins, we need to add HTTPS / localhost :3000. And for return URLs, we need to add a similar thing, but then we need to add auth response, and this essentially redirects the web. We need to connect to our Amazon account, so it's going to have to authenticate at the start when we first use it, and this is going to allow that authentication process to happen. It's going to redirect to here, and it's going to authenticate. So that's how we're going to do it. You can see some other settings for Kindles and stuff. We don't need to worry about those, so we can just move on. So we're just going to click next. You may want to upload some sort of logo, so you can just click choose image. If you go to downloads, I'm just going to choose a picture of Alexa. Alexa is already their logo, easy to use. I just thought I might as well. Now we're going to select the category. This really doesn't matter. You can just click other, I guess. Description, just say Alexa Pi. I mean, you can literally write anything there. It's just what it's going to do. And for this, I'm going to click no, because this is something I'm not making available to the public. So I'm not selling it. It's best just to click no for that if you're not going to let public use it. Now we have a device set up, and you can see I've actually made the device. So yeah, now we set up our Amazon developer account. We need to set up our SD card for our Raspberry Pi. So I'm just going to plug in an SD card and we're going to format it for the Raspberry Pi. Okay, so now it is opened my SD card. I will now, you can see it's empty. We're going to format it, and the best tool to use is SD card formatter, the official standard one from the SD card association. This is the professional one to use. Just use that. Download it here. I'll link in the description. Yeah, so we're going to use that SD card formatter. Go SD format. There you go. And correct drive. Make sure you select it. Not gonna, so you can format it. And we're going to just click option, and we want to enable size adjustment. And we'll just click format. Okay, okay, and there you go. And it takes like a few seconds, and you should be done. So now we're going to be actually getting the Win32 disk imager. I'll put the link in the description to where you can download this, and we're going to use this to flash the Raspbian image onto our SD card, and then we can boot it up in our Raspberry Pi. Okay, and we'll just run Win32. Yes. Accept agreement. And install. And we should now boot up. There you go. And we'll use this to flash the .img file. Okay, so now what we want to do is download the latest software, firmware for the Raspberry Pi. So if we go Raspberry Pi, just Google it, raspberrypi.org. Now we want to go to downloads, Raspbian, and you have Raspbian Jessie with Pixel and Raspbian Jessie Lite. We want to use the Raspberry Jessie with Pixel, so download the zip for that, and it should take a number of minutes, and we'll have to extract the little zip file of that when it downloads. Meanwhile, while we're waiting for this to download, we actually need to download a few other tools for the Raspberry Pi. So let's download Advanced LAN Scanner. This is particularly useful.
And it should allow us to scan the network to see our Raspberry Pi on the network. So this means we can connect it via VCN or secure shell with no peripherals, no keyboard, no monitor, nothing. We just can use the computer we've got available.
Plug your Raspberry Pi with the Wi-Fi dongle, or it might have a built-in Wi-Fi chip. If it does, then even better. And we're gonna set everything up in the boot drive. So we'll make those files in the boot drive, and basically how this is going to work is we're going to allow it. So there's something called SSH, and that's a secure shell essentially, and we're going to allow that to work. It's basically a direct connection to the Raspberry Pi over the network, and it allows us to control as a terminal from this computer to the Raspberry Pi, and we're going to use that to connect to the Raspberry Pi and then set everything up. That way we don't actually need to, you know, download anything, but we don't actually have to have a monitor and keyboard and mouse like most videos have explained it as. This makes it much easier and quicker to use. Okay, so as you can see, the Raspbian thing's almost downloaded, but let's download this anyway. Okay, advanced settings. Yeah, that should be good enough. Accept agreement, and no. Finish. And now if we type, there you go, advanced IP scanner. Now this should allow us to scan through the network to see what the IP address of our Raspberry Pi is. So we'll use that later. Cross it for now. Okay, so now let us flash this image of Raspbian. So how we're going to do this? We're actually going to flash it. So it's useful if you have 7-zip, you can extract this, or you can just extract this with the normal Windows software. Either way should work. Just extract it. It will take a couple of minutes to extract. It's a particularly large file, it's about 1.5 gigabytes. It's going to extract to about 4 gigabytes, so make sure you have the disk space available. Okay. Yeah, so what else we're going to need? We're going to need something called Putty. Putty is required for the SSH thing I was talking about, the secure shell that allows a command prompt sort of access and basically a terminal access to the Raspberry Pi, allowing you to enter commands in and send them to the Raspberry Pi. So we're going to download Putty. This is the tool we're going to be using. Putty.org has it, you can see, and we can click download Putty here, and we want to download, let's see where it is, we want to download this one, SSH and tell client. Click on it, click run, and there you go. So we have Putty now, and you can see I've already set up some stuff with Raspberry Pis before, but this is what we're going to connect to the SSH directly with. Okay. Now our Raspberry disk thing should have been extracted, and it has. Here it is. And now what we're going to do is we're going to flash this image file to our SD card. So let's use Win32, which we have here, to flash it to our SD card. Let's just cross Putty for now, and that. And we're going to flash this to our SD card. Now it might take a number of minutes, but once it's done, it'll be flashed to the SD card, and it will set up the boot drive and everything we need for the SD card. And you should be able to just have it like this, and then just click write. Make sure you select the right drive, and just be careful. And then click yes. And now we'll have to wait for it to finish. Now it might take between 1 to 5 minutes, depending on how fast your SD card is and how fast your computer is. But yeah, while we're doing that, let's see if there's anything else we should download. So once we have the Putty connection, which is the SSH, the secure shell, which allows us to connect via command, send commands across, we could actually use something called VNC, which allows us to visually view the Raspberry Pi without having to connect it to a monitor. Now there's something called realvnc.com. I'll put this link in the description as well. We just click download, and we'll install this. Run. You see I already have, here you go, it's already installed, and you can actually see here that I've already got a previous version of a Raspberry Pi here. It'd be quick and easy to set up, but I'll just close it for now, but we'll set it up in a bit. And this is much faster and a lot cheaper if you think about it, because we don't have to set it up with a monitor. I mean, setting up with a monitor requires time and effort, and you know, setting up with a monitor is too long. So I thought this is a faster method, and it's easy to do, and when I explain how you do it, it should all make sense. Right, we're on 31%. Okay, now it's just finishing up, and there you go, write successful, and we can just cross that. And we don't want to format the disk, let's just cross all that, and we should be able to go, if we go to the drive, and we should be able to see this drive called boot. And now we want to set up in headless mode, so we want to set it up so we don't have to use a monitor and a keyboard. We want to be able to use it through the secure shell and through the VNC. So let's just create some files. Okay, so we're just simply going to make a new file. Text document is the easiest way of doing it, and this one's going to be called WPA underscore supplicant.conf. So now we've made that file, let's edit it. Okay, so we're simply gonna I'm gonna copy and paste an example of what it should look like. So here it is. So you want to make sure there's no spaces between any of the equal signs, and one of the key things you have to make sure is there's no like invalid spaces. Here there is actually a tab, so you can press tab to get that space there, and we need it to be exactly like this. Enter in your SSID here. Your SSID is this. Do you know when you log on to your phone and you click the Wi-Fi, it will say like BT hub so and so. That's your SSID, the name of your Wi-Fi connection, and the password is obviously just the password that you use to log on to the Wi-Fi. And this is your key MGMT, so it's generally a WPA-PSK. If you don't understand this, best just to Google it, or you can check on your phone, you can check your Wi-Fi, and it will probably say something similar to this, and that's what you should write down. But this is the best bet, just go for this. So enter in your password here and your SSID here. So yeah, Okay, and now we're going to make a file called SSH. Now this SSH file is a secure shell, like I was talking about. It allows us to connect a terminal to the Raspberry Pi directly, so we can control it without having any monitors and keyboards and mouse plugged in, like I was saying before. Okay, so now that's all done, let's just eject it and plug it into a Raspberry Pi and boot it up. Okay, right, so I'm going to put it in this SD card into my Raspberry Pi now, and plug in the micro USB cable supplied with it. Okay, and now what we're going to do, now I've turned that on, I'm going to go to the advanced IP scanner that we've downloaded. Now this will allow us to basically scan the network to see if the Raspberry Pi is on it, and we need to find the IP address of the Raspberry Pi in order to be able to connect to it through VNC or SSH. Okay, so let's just scan now. Okay, so see how this one's blank? It might say Raspberry Pi, it might just be blank, but you'll have some sort of understanding under manufacturer that it's Raspberry Pi. For me, it's blank, so that's a good one to try. I mean, you can try multiple, it's not going to hurt. So let's run Putty, which is our SSH tool, and we're going to enter in the IP address. For me, it's this. Okay, and we'll click open, and you should see this login as. It might bring up a security message, and you might need to say yes to that security message potentially. The default password is Pi, and login is Pi, and the password is Raspberry. And you can see I have correctly entered in the password, and now I have a command prompt access. So now we want to set up that VNC thing so we can see the screen. Okay, so now what we're going to type in is sudo raspberry -config and click enter. Okay, and now we're going to use arrow keys to navigate down, click interfacing options, or click enter on interfacing options. You see SSH VNC, click enter and click yes to be enabled, and it's been enabled, and click OK. And that's as far as we need to go with this Putty, so click cross. Now what we're going to do is we're going to open our VNC viewer. Okay, so now what we want to do is type in our IP address that we've scanned, and then click connect. And now it's going to ask for a password. We need to enter in the same password as we entered in with Putty, Pi and Raspberry, or if you've set it up differently with your Raspberry Pi, you enter in the login for that way. And here you go. You see SSH is running, and we now have access to the Raspberry Pi. Okay, so most of the stuff we want to do, we can do from the terminal anyway though, so not that difficult, but I'll show you how you can do it. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to enter in git clone, and we're going to type in the address of the GitHub page, which is github.com alexa /alexa -avs -sample -app, and that's it cloned. And now we're going to click enter, and it should start cloning. Only take a few seconds. What we want to do now is go sudo. Oh yeah, we first of all want to go into the directory of the Alexa sample app. So it's Alexa avs sample -app, and now we're going to go sudo nano automated _install -sh. Hit enter, and you'll see here, if you go down, it says product ID. That's where we're going to enter Alexa _Pi. So that's our basically device name, essentially device ID. And then here we need to copy the stuff we put in our notepad. So let me get that. So first of all, our client ID is along here somewhere. So first of all, our client ID. So we copy that, right click, copy, and then we're just going to literally move it across into here. Should be able to copy and paste it across through the VCN, and that's why it's easy to use VCN. So go right click, copy, right click, paste. Easy as that, huh? And now we go onto this next section, and we'll copy across our client's secret. And again, copy and paste makes everything nice and easy. Okay, and that's it. So we're just going to Control X to exit and hit the Y and enter. Seems like the scaling doesn't allow you to see the whole thing here, but that is now done. And now what we want to do is we want to run the install process, and it should set up weight detection. So we're going to do, to run the install, we're going to do dot automated underscore install dot sh, and we want to put Y. We do agree to the terms and conditions. Yes, this is our 2, and we're using the 3.5mm jack, so we're going to 1, and yes, we want wake word detection. And now we'll begin the long install process, and I guess I'll come back to you when it has finished the install process. See you then. Okay guys, so as you can see now, it has finally finished installing that automated install script, and now you can see it gives you a few instructions on how you can actually start the companion service, and it says to open 3 terminal windows. But if you actually take all these different commands separately, you can actually make your own script to do it all for you, which would be much more effective if you think about it. So what we're going to do is we're just going to make a little script which will do this all for us, save us some time hopefully. So we'll open another terminal window and then copy this stuff across to run the command in the background. Okay, so once we've run those, we want to run this kit AI. This is for the weight detection, so when you say Alexa, it will detect it. And we'll have to, in a bit, connect up all the Bluetooth hardware, etc. We should be able to do dot space start underscore Alexa. I mean, you can run all the individual ones in 3 different command windows, but that'll take a long time. Okay, let's see how this works. And now you can see the Alexa voice service has started up, and we have to click yes, because what we're going to have to do is we actually have to log into our Amazon developer account. So we're going to have to wait for it to the browser window to open, and here you go, it's opening it in Chromium. Should be defaultly installed, and let's see how the login goes. So we need to see this top section, and once we've logged in, we'll actually click the OK button, and it'll take the authentication and then, you know, do its stuff. And of course, being a version of Chrome, it thinks something bad's going on, so we're just going to click advanced and proceed to localhost unsafe. It's not unsafe, it's just it's not a secure server, that's why. And it'll go onto this sign in page, and it says sign in to Alexa API using your Amazon account. And all we've got to do is sign in with the Amazon account. I mean, you can sign in with any Amazon account technically. I'm going to sign in with the one that I made the developer account with, so that's probably easiest to do. So let's just do this. And keep me signed in is a good one to do, so then you don't have to log in every time you want to run Alexa. So you could run it on startup or something like that. Okay, let's sign in using secure server, and once it's finished signing in, we should be able to use Alexa. And here you can say it's asking me about logging in. You just log in with your developer account and click sign in, and then you need to click OK here. Okay, so you can see it's just confirmed the request there. We want this to run automatically. Now, I've already set up an example of this. So if I click on here, sudo nano auto start.sh. This is my example of it, and essentially I've adjusted it, and this code was very useful, and I actually got it from there's a YouTuber who's made this video about how you can make Alexa auto start, and he included some code about all the stuff you need to include. And you know, I'll drop a link to his channel and his video. Very good, well explained video. He's finally found a way to auto start scripts with, so you can start Alexa when you just plug it in. Very useful, and he's got a script here to download. So yeah, I'll definitely drop a link to his channel. It's been very useful to help us make this headless, completely headless setup for the Raspberry Pi Alexa. Anyway, once you've downloaded that, you can just download it using the link in his description. I'll put this in the description as well. You can just download it. And if you open it in a text editor, right click, open with Notepad, you can just copy it across, and you'll get it into this. So you go sudo nano auto start like I did, and copy it into this. Then you can paste this code, and you may want to adjust these sleep times here depending on when you run it, what happens. Anyway, so how do you set it up to auto start? Let me show you. So once you've saved that file, so we're just going to go cd.config, and now we're going to go cd lx session and cd lx d lx, okay, and cd lxde dash pi, and then you can see it says auto start there. If you go sudo nano auto start, now you can see this code here, and you can see where I've put in auto start Alexa, and basically all you've got to do is put /home/pi/autostart.sh, assuming you've done the same as me, and then Control X, and then that's your file done. That is all done, and now it should auto start. But you may want to add some permissions to ensure that it will auto start. We also need to add some permissions. We go sudo change mod +x auto start.sh, and now that's done. Now I will put the link to this guy's video. He did a very good job explaining how to do this, and that's actually how I worked it out, so I want to thank him. So I'll put his link to his channel and video in the description. Anyway, let's test this. So we do sudo reboot, and we'll see what happens when it reboots. Okay, it seems to be replying now. That means we can connect back by SSH. Just wait a second, and here we go. We've now connected again, and we should be able to see the script running on start. Now, depending on the specs of your Pi, this may take longer for some users than others. If you're running, you can see the SSH warning here. Well, you don't actually need to click anything at all. You'll see it running at about 100% CPU if you're going to watch it like this for maybe a few minutes. It may take up to 5 minutes. My Pi I'm using is actually a particularly old Pi, so it will take between 5 minutes and 3 minutes. So yeah, and you adjust your timings depending on that. So yeah, I'll come back when it's starting up. Okay, so you can see it's just confirmed the request there because we've already logged in before. And now it should, in theory, when you say Alexa, it should actually start running. So what you'll see is the wake word start up, and then we'll be able to use it. So if we actually click this now, the Alexa will run. Alexa, what is the Raspberry Pi?
The Raspberry Pi is a series of small single-board computers developed in the United Kingdom by the Raspberry Pi Foundation to promote the teaching of basic computer science in schools and in developing countries.
And there you go. Pretty good, right? And now that is fully working on startup. We didn't click anything and it works on startup. So yeah, pretty cool, right? So now let's do a full demo.
Okay, so we have the Raspberry Pi here set up, connected, and we have the USB webcam as a microphone. This is our aux speaker, the aux cable connected, and here we have the power bank, and here is the Raspberry Pi connected with this lead here, and the SD card is in. So if we turn on the power bank, it should all switch on and we should be able to use it as Alexa. Now it should take about 5 minutes for this all to boot up. So if I click and hold this, turn on the power bank, and in about 4 or 5 minutes it should all be connected up and we should be able to start using it. Alexa, what is 55 times 2?
55 multiplied by 2 is 110.
That's correct. Okay, so now we'll do another one. Alexa, what is the weather in London today?
In London, United Kingdom, it's 72 degrees with partly sunny skies. Today, you can expect clouds and showers, with a high of 73 degrees and a low of 55 degrees.
So obviously that's in Fahrenheit, but I think you can change everything so you can make it more usable. And you can actually link this up with things like Home Assistant. You can do some really cool integrations with this to make a really cool smart system. That's it. If you go to my website,
samlopez.co.uk,
you can actually buy all these products. I've got links to all of them, and like the power banks you can use, different Raspberry Pis, all the stuff you're going to need for this project, and the SD cards I recommend, and you can make your perfect Alexa Pi yourself, just like me. Now, this didn't require any monitors, no keyboards, no mice for the Raspberry Pi. I could do it all on one computer and set it up in a headless sort of configuration without any monitors, no extra monitors needed. Very easy, very simple, no problems. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. If you click these annotations on the screen now, you can see other videos I've made, and you can also subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys.